Good evening, 8th graders. Hollenbeck here, and hopefully the sound is better on this. I did a lesson for the 7th grade, and it seemed to work better. I'm using my daughter's computer. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm not holding out for a new computer of my own, but, you know, my daughter's going to be leaving in a few weeks, so of course I'll need a new one. Anyway, many of you got onto the website, and glad to see that. I've received some feedback. Please feel free. I'll be checking it at least once a day. Now, it took me a little bit more time today because we had teacher meetings, but know that I'll be checking it even over the weekend. So feel free to, talk to me. Anyway, I'm on page 7. And this is a context lesson. So in the context article that begins on page 143, I'll review what the context clues are like and how to answer those when we get to those. A lot of the words that we're working with in lesson 2, you're pretty familiar with, I think. There are 2 that are pretty closely related. So we'll talk about it. And make sure to ask me to make sure that you understand the difference. Okay? So our first word is allegory. Allegory is a noun. Now, whether you know the term, have used the term, or whatever, you have been exposed to an allegory, especially those of you last year who read Animal Farm. That is a political allegory. An allegory is a story that has continued symbolism all the way through it, all right, where every character represents another character or a real live character. For instance, in Animal Farm, all the different animals, the different pigs and stuff, they represented the major figures in the revolution, or the Russian Revolution. All right, the Bolshevik uprising. All right, and so all of the animals kind of represented either political figures themselves, or they represented groups of people. Okay, so an allegory is a type of story that has underlying symbolism. Another example would be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's an allegory. Okay, and all the books in that series. Okay, Lord of the Rings. That has some allegorical elements to it. Okay, so that's an allegory. It's a noun. Conjecture. Conjecture, the same spelling can be a noun or a verb. Just depends on how you use it. Okay, if I listen to this video, I might make some conjectures then as I go to do the lesson. I might make some guesses based on what I have heard. I may conjecture or make a conjecture. Now, a lot of times when police go to a crime scene, or investigators, they may have to make conjectures initially before they get more clues to lead them to the right direction. All right, so conjectures is guesswork, not necessarily a lot of proof, but some good ideas. All right, so it's some guesswork. Okay. Our next word is despicable. Well, our next 2 words, these are the 2 words that are kind of close together. All right. Despicable is an adjective. Dissolute is also an adjective. All right. So despicable. I cannot help but be reminded of the movie Despicable Me. I just watched that again over the just last week. I love that movie. It is so cute. Anyway, Despicable Me, the character, Professor Crew, or Crew, whatever his name is, he is the bad guy. He loves doing bad things. All right, he's vile. He does awful things. Yet he does know right from wrong. He just likes to do the wrong. Okay. A dissolute person is the person that is lacking in understanding of what's right or wrong, total disregard for what's right or wrong, who doesn't even care what's right or wrong. It's not that he knows and he chooses to do bad, all right, or does something bad, just because he's put in a rough place, and so in order to get out of that place, or out of that situation, he does something bad. That's despicable. All right. Dissolute means, boy, you just total wicked evil. Okay. I mean, the obvious example would be what the shooter did in Aurora. That behavior is totally dissolute. Just total wickedness. All right. An absence of any sort of moral or ethical insight there. Okay. Total absent of ethics or morals. Okay. So that's despicable and dissolute. Okay. Our next word, veracity. Veracity is a noun. The ity, that makes it a noun. That's a typical noun ending, and it that kind of suffix is usually a condition, or like tranquility, a condition or a state of being. That's what that type of noun. All right, so veracity is a noun, and it has to do with being fierce and very violent, savage. Okay. The investigators might be repulsed by the ferocity of a crime. Okay, that would have to do with the savagery of the crime. Okay. Incongruous. Incongruous is an adjective. Incongruous is, I think last week, we had the word felicitous. And felicitous, that was appropriate. We have sunshiny day when we have our ice cream social. We have felicitous weather. It's appropriate. It matches. It's pleasant. Well, incongruous would be if it rained. All right. That's not what we want. That doesn't work with us. All right. We have our ice cream social. We want nice weather, right? We want to go out to the baseball game. We want nice weather. Incongruous weather that doesn't work with us, not so much, right? I think also a way to remember it with incongruent lines. They're not going to work together. All right. If everybody is walking randomly around on a fire drill, we all just kind of run all in, and there's incongruous behavior on a fire drill. It's very dangerous. We need a uniform, a pattern of where we walk and stuff so that everybody is kept safe. Okay, so incongruous adjective. Misanthrope. A misanthrope is a person noun, and a misanthrope is a person who doesn't like other people. Okay, so like a hermit would be a misanthrope. Doesn't like other people, doesn't want to be around other people, doesn't like mankind. Lives in a cave up in the woods. Okay, that's a misanthrope. You could have misanthropes that live in the city too. They're just angry people that don't like other people. Okay. Prologue. Prologue is a noun, and I explained it a little bit in the analogies in lesson 1. Prologue. Pro meaning before the log like the journal or the story or whatever. It comes before the rest of the written work. And an epilogue, epi means, after. That comes after the log. So prologue at the beginning, epilogue at the end. Okay. Protagonist. Protagonist, also kind of a literature term, just like prologue. Protagonist is a person noun, and the protagonist is the main character, the hero, the one who struggles for something. Okay. In the conflict, he's struggling for something. The person who works against him is the antagonist. Okay, and you remember that, if your siblings antagonize you, they're the antagonist. They're always fighting against you. You're fighting for something, they're fighting against you. All right, if you are the younger sibling, that's your job. I was the youngest sibling, so that was my job. So, hey, we each have our role, right? The last word, terse. Terse is an adjective. And terse, this is really has to do with writing, or if you're speaking. Terse means quick and to the point. Okay. Now, I have never been considered terse. I go off on my tangents. I like to tell my stories. I like telling the jokes now and again. I have never been called terse. All right, terse is brief, to the point, get it said, get it done. Okay, get it written. I should improve on that, but hey, like I said, everybody has a part to play, right? So, those are your 10 words, and I hope I was clear on those. If not terse, hopefully I was concise. If we turn to page 141, 141 kind of gives you the different types of contextual clues. I'm just going to review them for you, all right, very quickly. The types of contextual clues. A common one is the author will give you a clue by giving you a synonym of the vocabulary word. And it can be right after, it could be right before, or it's usually pretty close to it. So one way is to give you a synonym. Another contextual clue is by giving you an antonym. Some clue words that you're working with the opposite might be not, never. How about un, the prefix un? All right. Sometimes they'll throw those in to try to help you understand a word by understanding its opposite meaning. Okay. Another way an author might give you a contextual clue is by giving you an example. For instance, if our word is catastrophe, the author might name a specific catastrophe. Okay. For instance, Hurricane Katrina. All right. They may talk about that, and that gives you an example of catastrophe. Now, how do you write that down as far as the contextual clue? Well, what I would do is just to write example of a catastrophe, Hurricane Katrina, or the example that I gave the 7th graders, because in their article about Socrates, the author explained the word excerpt by giving an excerpt from Socrates' work entitled Apology. And so I just write down example from Apology. Okay, and so you can do the same with that. Another way that an author might give you a contextual clue is by way of an appositive. Brief grammar lesson or review. An appositive is a noun that follows a noun that renames the previous noun. Example, Mrs. Hollenbeck, our English teacher. See, I had Mrs. Hollenbeck as my noun. Our English teacher, that's my appositive. It renames Mrs. Hollenbeck. Okay? Anyway, the authors can use appositives with nouns because it has to be a noun and a noun. Okay? A noun followed by a noun. One of the big pushes in this book are in these books, the 7th and 8th grade, even more so in the 8th grade. The authors are going to give you similes and metaphors galore, because your understanding of a word can only be strengthened if you can relate it, or if you could see how it's related to something else. So they will do, they will give you some sort of simile, some sort of comparison, and to help you see the meaning of that word. And so in your answer blank, if you quote that simile or that metaphor, you can bet your last dollar that that's going to be in the multiple choice, either in the question or in the answer. They always are. Okay, that is a given. Okay, trust me on that one. Let's see. I think I've given you all the different contextual clues that they do. But if you have a question about one, make sure to either post your question or ask the question. All right? I'll close for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll be putting up number or lesson 3 pretty quick. If not this evening, I'll do it tomorrow on Saturday. So I'll see you soon. Looking forward to the retreat. Talk to you later. Bye now.